Welcome to the DarkMatch, and this is what's Iron Sheik tweeting now. I have the surgery and I asked for the sexy Russian nurse. They gave me black mother who looked like the Kamala.
Oh.
The murder
Oh my god!
Just
Oh.
read these all day.
I know. With that bit of insanity over, I am Ironbite.
I am Backlash.
I am Tiphus.
And I'm Revolver Man, and tonight's show is all about Against All Odds.
Or as I have nicknamed it,
Outside of porn, I have never watched a show and walked away feeling physically tired.
This show.
You know what it all is, and you know what sucked, what little life this show actually had? It was that Jarrett Angle match that we'll get to in a little bit, but
I propose we save that for last, putting even the main event before it.
Well, the main event has its problems as well, but
It was offensive though.
Oh yeah. So I guess let's dive right on into this. With what was supposed to be the finals of the X Division tournament. And that turned into, the Young Bucks missed their flight. They got stuck in, Utah?
Yep.
I blame the Mormons.
I do too, because, obviously the Mormons can't, design an airport that can accommodate
everyone in
snow.
Utah is a Mormon. Jeez. Way to stereotype, guys.
Hey, stereotypes is good.
All the TNA versus WWE. Because, it's WWE guys, they miss their flight. Whoever's managing them is going to, get them on the next flight out, get them there roughly in time. They might be for the show, but
they'll be running into the ring in their street clothes at the worst.
Yeah, TNA, you miss your flight. Screw you. You're not getting paid tonight. Too bad.
I was just about to say that's because WWE, I can't believe I'm saying this, but cares a lot more about their fucking talent and will actually fly them to places rather than expecting them to pay for themselves.
Which is just, is indicative. You got these guys, you have the culmination of a major pay-per-view, okay? This is a major thing, this was their big storyline going into the
tournament's been going on all month.
Right, and you don't make sure 2 out of the 3 participants are there? Yeah, that's just a waste of everybody's time. You should have been. Those guys should have been in town at least. I don't know.
A day in advance.
Yeah, I'd also like to point out that during the pre-show, they were still advertising this match. They knew full well ahead of time that the Young Bucks were not going to be there, and they were still advertising this triple threat.
You mean
But they announced it all over the place everywhere else that they weren't going to be there.
You mean TNA was practicing bait and switch? God, no!
And then during the show, they acted like they were supposed to be there, like it was a surprise that they weren't. And what's really bad is, I think this is actually funny, they ran into Paul London at the airport and just hung out with him.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that works
the Young
like
Bucks
that.
plus Paul London. But I wouldn't have given to be at the Utah airport at that time.
No, Paul London's reaction, hey, look, it's the Hardys that I like.
I'd rather watch the Young Bucks versus Paul London in some small airport than fucking Robbie E. do anything in the ring.
What kills me is, Robbie E. and Cookie decided to come out. And I don't know what Robbie E. is on, and I never want anything to do with him.
and Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all GTW'd out. What the hell does that even mean?
I assume that means steroids or something. TNA to reference fucking steroids on.
Yeah, and Robbie E. has the referee count out the Young Bucks. Yeah, like they're ever going to show up.
Guys, according to Urban Dictionary, GTW stands for go to work.
Oh,
so he's go to work out.
Oh,
the hell! And so he cuts the promo. He has poor Brian Hebner. God, there's a huge mistake he made. He has to raise this jack-off's arm and go, hey, you won! And he's like, and he pumps his fist, and Taz is going, oh, yeah, Taz, you're from Brooklyn. You're not from frickin' the Jersey Shore.
The way his hair is, the highlights, and it's spiked up like that, it looks like he's going Super Saiyan.
Yeah, only he's not, getting get in there. He's got the hair and everything, but he doesn't have talent. But then Kazarian comes out and we have an X Division title match. And, Tifus, I think you said last night that there was like one match on the entire card that didn't have a gimmick. Well, guess what? This was a match that didn't have a gimmick. It was just a straight up one-on-one.
Well, 3 of the matches that they added the day before the pay-per-view didn't have gimmicks.
That's true. But they had a decent X Division match. And I'm going to say this because it was decent. It was nothing spectacular.
Well, there was plenty of, and this was throughout the show even, there was plenty of, I got the guy down, I'm going to turn my back to him, play to the crowd, turn around, check he's not there, turn my back to him again, play to the crowd some more.
Apparently, they gave an official time for the Robbie E versus the Max and Jeremy Buck match. It was 27 seconds, and on the books, the match is officially Robbie E defeats Max Buck and Jeremy Buck by dual forfeit.
It's not a forfeit because they rang the bell and counted them out.
Well, apparently they don't know. They don't know what the hell they just did. That's how bad TNA is.
Someone buy them a dictionary, I guess.
I'm hurting. But the X Division Championship match between Robbie E, who we all knew was going to be the number one contender anyways.
It would have been funny if Robbie E was the one who was lost and see how.
If the Young Bucks showed up, it's like, well, we're going to have ourselves a one-on-one match, and it'll be like, yeah, okay, that's great.
And Robbie E wins still.
Yeah, Robbie E still wins somehow. But they had a decent match, and Kazarian wins with that inverted pile driver.
I call it an inverter breaker, but done so safely it looks lame.
Actually, the official description is an inverted tombstone pile driver.
What?
That makes no
Did they
sense.
even say Tombstone Pile Driver?
No, but you can write it.
Not on TNA's website, they can't. That's copyrighted.
It looked okay, but you're right. It was so damn safe, it wasn't even funny.
The problem is that it was clear that Robbie E, even if he wasn't like an inch or 2 inches off the ground, was going to land on Kazarian's thigh.
He landed on his hair.
Yeah.
We all know that's the source of his power.
Yes, of course. I did like this, though. In the middle of the match, Cookie decides to get involved. And she hugs Kazarian. And he sells it like it's,
Sleeper show.
Was she supposed to be, like, biting him or something?
No, she was supposed to be choking him. And he sold it like that. And also there's a purse shot. And Kazarian sells it.
Good for Kazarian for doing that. Fucking stupid shit ever.
I wouldn't sell a purse shot from Cookie.
Look, I'd take the purse back and, like, try to break it in front of her. Like, rip, that's what I think of that spot.
That spot was dumb. You're dumb for trying it, Becky Bayless. Now go back to Joel Gertner and his wife.
Actually, one thing I do want to point out about this match, let me ask you guys something. How long has Kazarian been a heel in TNA?
Since he joined up with
Fortune now.
Yeah, Fortune.
He's been a babyface for about a week now, and he's already getting a huge pop from the crowd.
Because, shocker of shockers, people like their wrestlers to be talented.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll say this. I think Kazarian's a natural babyface.
Yeah, Kazarian, he wrestles. He doesn't really wrestle like a heel, and he is an amazing wrestler. I just find it really just kind of odd that the crowd has warmed up to him so fast.
Well, he's Scott Hall if Scott Hall never discovered alcohol. And I will stand by that, because you know how big pops Scott Hall was getting when he was Razor Ramon and he could still do things?
This is true.
It's not even the women's match, and we're already getting the piss break. Beer Money Incorporated, James Storm and Robert Roode and Scott Steiner versus Rob Terry and the evil security guards Gunner and Murphy.
Who ring gear for this.
Found their underwear for this match.
Yeah, they had ring gear. I'm going to say this. Before this match, we had a Steiner promo.
Oh, I love Scott Steiner's promos.
Oh.
Did you notice that he was kind of stumbling over his lines at the beginning of it, though?
Just a little bit, which leads me to believe he may have been just a little bit hammered, but it's Scott Steiner.
He did walk out with a beer.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
was just about to say, he was still chugging the beer when he came out.
Yeah, and however, we also got AJ Styles on the commentary team, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But
And we couldn't book AJ Styles because we needed to give Matt Hardy a match.
yeah, I know. But
AJ's injured.
Yeah, no, he was not injured. He wrestled last Thursday on Impact.
Yeah, he beat Jeff Jarrett with the Styles Clash.
No, it wasn't the Styles Clash. You can't give your finisher to Jeff Jarrett to make yourself look strong. No, he used that flying forearm shot.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but again, we can't book the face of TNA. We have to give Matt Hardy a match, which I'm going to get to in a bit too, because there's Razor. But AJ Styles comes out. They go to commentary. And we have learned that this Thursday on Impact, Ric Flair will be on Impact, and I don't know what we're going to have with that.
I made a prediction about what his reaction will be to Fortune's face turn. It's going to go something like this. What? What are you doing? I give you orders to follow them, but you know what? I'm a god. Woo!
You know, that's probably as close.
Then inexplicably, Flair gets iced.
Yeah, AJ Styles just says, "Here, have a beer." Okay, so this match is it's a 6-man tag match, but unlike the WWE or the Knockouts division booker, all 6 men actually get involved at one point. By the way, TNA has got a pathetic pyro budget.
It's all the same pyro. It's just the fireworks shooting up behind them.
Yeah, and it's just so poor.
I swear to God, it was so bad. I thought it was a misfire. Remember when they tried to use a lot of pyro and they set the building on fire?
Yeah. We actually had Steiner, and Taz was kind enough to point this out, just to, point out how stupid TNA's booking is. This is the first match Scott Steiner's had since he came back.
Oh, Taz.
Gunner and Murphy get sacrificed to the god that is Scott Steiner, and then they tag in Rob Terry, and immediately Rob Terry and Scott Steiner have a flex-off in the middle of the ring. I think Rob Terry won. What do you guys think?
I seriously don't give a shit.
Yeah, this is where I started watching the Grammys.
Oh, that's not professional, Tevis, but I have to give it to Rob Terry simply for the fact that he made British Bulldog and Dynamite Kid look like cruiserweights.
Yeah, it's it is just amazing at how fucking blown up Rob Terry is, and if Vince had clue one what TNA was, he'd be looking at Rob Terry and go, humana, 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 and boom goes the dynamite.
Jeez.
Hey, like Jim Cornette said, they're not gay, but they missed a grand opportunity.
Yeah. So, and then, Steiner just slaps the taste out of Rob Terry's mouth, and we go on to, the rest of the match. And I'm gonna tell you this right here. In the middle of the match, we go to a split screen to go watch the announcers talk, because I didn't know who was talking without a camera shoved up their asses.
You can't tell the difference between the different voices. Freaking Bronx, freaking straight man, freaking country hick.
Well, as boring as this match was, I think that's probably the only thing they could think of to spice it up a little bit.
Just a little bit, but way to go, TNA, to grab focus off your match. They utterly just stole the focus from what was going on in the ring, where you should be keeping your focus. And it was a pretty good match, but then when you can't see what's going on, it's like, what the fuck? What am I really watching?
Why do I care?
Yeah, exactly. Why do I care?
Especially when you show what you're distracting the match from, like what you're using to distract attention from the match, is smaller than the match itself.
However, in my opinion, that really proves TNA's philosophy that the matches don't matter. What we want to show is people talking. They have found a way to have people talking and focus on them during a match now. That's just, Russo must be masturbating in the back or something now.
Right. So we have the and I love this because Steiner's such a face in this match. Steiner decides to kick Rob Terry in the yam bags after the beer money distracts the ref.
I don't know why they bothered to distract the ref. The ref never calls anything.
I know. Well, that goes back to the whole WCW refereeing thing, where you would have run-ins just appear out of nowhere, and the refs goes, "Yeah, I'll let it go." But we had the faces start out strong. Then right in the middle of the match, they tag in James Storm, or I'm sorry, the Tennessee Cowboy, because everybody in TNA has a fucking nickname.
Because James Storm isn't enough of a nickname.
Yeah, James Storm is not enough of a nickname, but he's a Tennessee Cowboy. He gets in and he's the sacrificial lamb to everybody. And then they get in Robert Roode, and Robert Roode busted out the frickin' AA spine busters. Oh my God, that's a wonderful move. But they get Gunner up on top of the rope. They tag in Steiner, and and I did not know what Steiner was. I thought he was just going to go for a superplex. Nope. He hits the frickin'
Frankensteiner.
Yeah, the Frankensteiner.
I seriously get nervous when he pulls that move out in this day and age, because you just know one of these days he's just going to land on his goddamn head.
But this time, he did it well.
Yeah, he did it really well this time.
Yeah, but Scott Steiner, whose entire repertoire not 4 or 5 years ago against Triple H, it was belly to bellies. That's it.
Then again, back then he tried to dive off the edge of the ring apron and completely missed Test 5 feet away.
Yeah, but
And
Test
still had to sell it.
That's
Yeah.
how badass Scott Steiner is. He'll miss, but you still have to sell.
Oh, that reminds me a while back when Christian was in TNA, and Scott Steiner and him were on the outside beating one another, and then Steiner goes to slam Christian's head into the
I love this one.
into the ring steps, and he lets him go before he smashes his head in, and Christian just still does it. And they caught this on camera and everything.
Perfectly framed, which proves that Scott Steiner is without a doubt a Jedi.
Possibly.
I can kill you with my mind.
Yeah.
So it was either a mind trick and he made Christian smash his own head, or he force pushed him into it.
Or perhaps Scott Steiner is so intimidating that Christian was just so afraid of him that Scott Steiner just yelled at him to smash his head into the ring, and he's like, "Yes, sir." Boing.
Yep.
I like that one too.
So they finished that match with the Frankensteiner. Steiner got the pin on Gunner.
Yep, and the fans go home happy. I honestly thought, and this was one of my predictions, that they were going to give it to Gunner and Murphy and Rob Terry, because this is Russo booking.
Not even Russo, and I'm going to give this to Russo, is smart enough not to feed probably the best tag team in wrestling, or at least in North America, to fucking evil security guards.
So we move on, and we get to watch Devon cut a promo on Bully Ray saying, "Oh, kids, you're not gonna be in this match."
So it's a one-on-one match.
We're gonna make this one-on-one, just me and Bubba, because that'll happen.
And that's the way they had it advertised before the show. Was one-on-one.
Yeah,
so once again, this is twice now. Despite what they have advertised, they're talking about something completely different in the show.
Yeah. So Devon, they cut that promo, and it's like, well, the kids aren't going to be there. Great. That's awesome. We're not going to have the kids. That means shit, because they're still going to come out.
Of course.
You know that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We went into this knowing like, this is not going to happen. This is complete bullshit.
Because how often does someone get told to stay in the back and stay in the back?
Yeah.
That would be quite the swerve that actually happened.
Well, it only happens if you're like Tommy Dreamer taking orders from Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Tell your brother, stay in the back.
Yes, sir.
Here, drink out of this urinal.
Yes, sir.
At this point, every single match has like a 3 to 5 minute promo video summing up the entire feud between whoever's involved so far.
Because
not only that, they played the promos at the beginning of the pay-per-view, then they played each individual promo again right before the match.
Just in case you forgot.
Just in case you couldn't keep up with this highly complex, well, for some of these it's actually true, storylines that Vince Russo is crafting for us, our ungrateful wrestling fans.
See, that's a thing that WWE does, is they show promos all the way through it, summing things up, but they keep them a lot shorter, unless they're like Undertaker versus HBK for the second time at WrestleMania. And then when they show two little pieces on the same feud, they have a different promo each time they show it.
Yeah.
Either TNA is just trying to like help out their ADD audience, or they're either just killing time, because God knows we can't fill that with wrestling.
That's just it. If you're gonna highlight something that often, you better have enough material, enough different ways of doing it to keep it interesting. Because watching the same shit 3 times over is not going to make me more interested in seeing the final match.
Yeah, we had the Pope versus Joe. Now, if you couldn't remember those promos, you could have watched Pope and Joe. Pope run like a scared little bitch every time Joe was even in the same building as the Pope.
In the Impact before Against All Odds, basically 3 of these feuds were in a pointless 3-way match that only had 2 people wrestle in it, but that's besides the point. As soon as Joe came out, Pope was already out, they immediately run off to the back and are just never seen again.
No, they disappear into the ether. Well, this time, and I was sure that this match would have ended outside the ring in a draw, and it almost did. But, because I was sure they were going to stretch this feud out to Lockdown so they could stick Joe and Pope into,
Rage in a cage.
Yeah, Rage in a cage.
Honestly, I don't care if someone plays a chicken shit who wants to run away every time. I kind of like the slow burn. You're building to something at a pay-per-view. And I thought the booking was kind of dumb how they were doing it because, we're showing pigs fucking on TV. But...
Yep.
It's building something. You're teasing it. It's good in that regard. But when you actually get to the pay-per-view, you have to actually wrestle.
You know what, though? I honestly wish they would have just had Pope run off to the back and that was it, because instead, we got every chance they got, they cut to a shot of Pope's ass.
I personally believe that the production notes got mixed up and the cameramen were getting orders to shoot this like a knockouts match.
Well, no, it's because he had the phrase, Pope is gonna kill you, to taunt Joe, written on his tights. The problem is, he's just wearing trunks. So he's having people look at his ass the entire match.
And so Joe and Pope actually have a damn decent match. Until Pope rips off, and I do mean rips off the top turnbuckle. And I hate to tell you guys this, but,
No.
Wrestling is a lot like theater, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And if anybody here understands the concept of Chekhov's gun,
mm-hmm.
Once you bring something onto stage, you got to use it. So somebody was going into that exposed steel.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't know it was going to be Joe or Pope. And I have never seen anybody tap out to any type of move I have ever seen than at the ending. Pope taps to the rear naked choke before it's locked on.
Joe had just got his arms around him, not even tightening them up, just around him, and he was tapping.
Oh, yeah.
I can think of one other instance that has happened. Back when they were building up to the whole SummerSlam thing with the Nexus, it was John Cena versus Chris Jericho, with the stip being that whoever lost was out of Team WWE. And what happened was Cena gets Jericho in the STF. Again, before it's even locked on, he taps.
Yeah.
And this thing with the Pope and Joe looked even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't even think his arm was around his neck yet.
No, it wasn't.
Before he started tapping.
It's like he just knew it was coming and said, that's it, I'm done.
And then afterwards,
Pope makes it obvious that he tapped for no reason because he immediately stands up like nothing happened.
I just blanked out here. Did we mention Okado?
Oh, yeah, Okado coming down the ramp because Pope tries to
wearing a mask.
They're not even trying to hide the fact that he's Kato from the Green Hornet now. He's
I mean, his name was Okada, and all of a sudden tonight he's wearing a mask and they're calling him Okado. That's how they have it spelled on the results, too.
Taz even said, oh, that's Okado. Not to be confused with Okada. Like, they're actually acknowledging the name change.
So then Pope attacks Joe, as we all knew he was going to do. Okado tries to get in, and Pope cuts him off. Doesn't even let him get near the ring. He's just like, oh, no. Bam, you're down. And Joe goes face first into the into the turnbuckle. And oh God, did anybody see how bad a blade job and how obvious a blade job?
There's like a line across his face.
That wasn't a blade job. That was a scratch job because the wound had healed before Joe had even left the ring. He slightly scratched himself.
Yeah.
Well, with how often Joe blades, I think he's probably trying to be more cautious these days.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for not wasting his flesh on fucking TNA.
This is definitely true.
But to start this post-match fiasco, freaking Pope is sitting in the corner laughing, smiling like, "Oh, you got me. Shucks." And he stands up and offers his hand to Joe to shake it. And Joe's the one that attacks him. Because, Joe's the baby face and Pope is the heel, so.
Are you sure?
Pope trying to be friendly and Joe
I don't remember
him.
that.
He did.
Pope, it says here in the results, Pope gets closer and Joe finally shakes his hand. Pope then kicks Joe and uppercuts him.
He didn't even shake his hand. He just attacked him.
Oh, well, you know what? Regardless, it was a dumb finish to this match.
I will say this, though, that when Okada or whatever you want to call him tried to get in the ring, the move that Pope hit on him looked pretty sweet to me.
Yeah.
I still can't believe they're ripping off a movie that nobody likes.
Yeah, I mean,
I
a
know.
Seth Rogen movie, no less.
Yeah. Then we get the Knockouts champion, the last Knockout standing. I will say this. I never knew American Indian equaled hardcore country.
That was
Pocahontas.
What the hell? Did she decide that? Did TNA decide that?
I don't know, but it's so stupid because, I know everyone probably got it. My mind lags a bit behind, and then Taz says it, and I'm looking at her like, what the fuck?
I mean, granted, I love seeing Mickie James in that type of a costume, but yeah, God bless her heart. If she was wearing a headband, it would have completed the outfit. But you know what? God bless her for going with that outfit. And then
talk about leftover Halloween costumes.
Yeah, that too. But the prom starts, everybody.
Oh yeah.
Here's your prom queen, Madison Rayne, who apparently is using Scott Steiner's old chainmail.
She fashioned it into a dress and a bra.
That's where I kept thinking, like, does she have an armored bra on or something?
She did.
And she's wearing the loaded glove. Okay, the ref checks over Mickie James, obviously, and then he goes to take off the loaded glove, and Madison Rayne's like, no, Mr. Referee, you can't take it from me. And then she goes to hit Mickie James, and Mickie James finally figured out something. Grabbing the glove before Madison Rayne can hit you.
It's like
so simple when you say it.
It's like the Highlander when they learned how to counter that super move. It's just like, oh.
Exactly. There's a lot of stupidity in this match, but it's not like, utter, complete, and total stupidity like we've had in knockouts matches past. But there's still stupidity. And one of the things that kills me is that, Mickie, in the middle of the match, Madison Rayne is on the outside getting counted out. She's not stirring. This match is in Mickie James' hands. What does Mickie James do?
She keeps picking her up.
Yes, she keeps picking her up. Finally, and throughout this match, Mickie James, the story Mickie James is telling us is, I'm going to get that loaded glove, and I'm going to use it on Madison Rayne. Once she finally does, who comes out? Madison Rayne's lesbian lover, Tara.
Luckily, not looking like a gay male biker this time.
No, she did.
Kinda, but
she didn't have the hat. The hat is what set it off.
That's true. That's true.
I'd like to point out that Taz actually did call her Victoria.
Yeah, he did.
Really, I missed that part.
This is what I don't get. They both went under the ring, like crawled from one side of the ring to the other underneath the ring. Mm-hmm. It's a last knockout standing match, but the ref didn't start counting.
Well, here's the thing with the last person standing match. You can't be able to stir.
No, it's if you can stand on your own 2 feet. Like once you get back up to your feet, as soon as you go off your feet and the other person stops touching you, the ref's supposed to start counting.
I really don't know, but Mickie James kept picking Madison Rayne up and kept interrupting the 10 count. Eventually, after Tara comes out, Tara gets knocked out by the loaded glove, and Madison Rayne takes out, get this, brass knuckles.
Oh, yeah. It really just reminds me of old school William Regal, like that.
The thing I loved about that is, apparently, Madison Rayne was fully well aware she was going to lose that loaded glove, so she packed a backup.
Yeah, that's just awesome planning on Madison Rayne's part. But no, it gets better. Because Madison Rayne, after she knocks Mickie James the fuck out, she puts the brass knuckles away and then pins Mickie James.
And the ref is like, "What are you doing? 1, stop that. 2."
No, seriously.
I think the problem is they don't tell the knockouts what kind of match they're having beforehand, because that happened a couple weeks ago with the taped fist match, and it happened again last night. So I think they just send them out there like, it's a match. What kind of match? You'll figure it out.
It's pretty sad whenever they advertise a match where a pinfall is not involved, you know someone's going to try and make a pinfall.
This is WCW territory. This
is.
This is when First Blood matches would end when somebody's pinned when both dudes are still bleeding.
I really don't understand how you could fucking forget you're in a last man standing match.
I mean, the only other time I've ever laughed that much is probably when Macho Man went for a pin during the Royal Rumble back in like '92.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. There was another funnier part. Simply because all but one person ignored it. It's when Great Khali clearly stepped over the rope during
eliminated himself
over the top, and like Cole's sitting there going, "Why isn't he eliminated? He's just threw himself out."
Madison Rayne retains due to shenanigans from Tara.
I'm convinced at this point that Madison Rayne is blowing someone behind the scenes to keep that title.
No, it's just because Vince Russo has serious woman issues. So the slut's always got to be the champion. You saw that in WWE.
But they're all sluts. Everyone's a slut or a bitch. It's sluts
or
versus
lesbian.
bitches.
Or a lesbian.
It's evil.
Or a lesbian bitch.
We're not lesbian sluts.
I'm kind of stuttering here because TNA has done the damnedest thing. Their women's division is like 90% lesbian somehow. I think the only one who isn't, like, might be Sarita, but that's because they don't give her any fucking time.
I'm sorry, my mind has wandered to lesbian sluts now.
I know. TNA obviously does not care about the women's division beyond, well, how can we make hot women hotter? And in Russo's mind, and in fact in the minds of a ton of Americans, lesbianism is hot.
Lesbian catfight.
Yeah, lesbian catfight. We want to see lesbians just going at it.
You know what? That's fine for about 15 minutes each day, but after that, there's other things you want to get into.
Yeah, it's called the internet. I have it, TNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly right. And I'm going to credit For Life here for saying this. Vince Russo is the Frank Miller booking. Every woman, regardless of talent, is just a whore.
Honestly, I was watching the Grammys while I was watching Against All Odds, and I would look up during this match, and I would see less veiled fake lesbianism in a Lady Gaga performance in this Knockouts match.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
It is so sad to me that what once was the major ratings bringer for this show, which was the Knockouts division, has devolved into this. And it's a laughing stock.
It's not the Knockouts division. I refuse to call that. It's the Beautiful People division. Because they're all beautiful people now. They all act the same.
They seem to have just taken anyone with talent, like Awesome Kong, Hamada, Gail Kim, Cheerleader Melissa, and just fired them all.
Yep.
I know there's a bunch of people I'm forgetting, but I don't want to be here all night.
Okay, here's the thing about the Knockout division. Back when Scott D'Amore and Dutch Martel were booking it and training these girls, it was like, oh my god, we have a division. This rivals our X division stuff. Now
I heard people seriously and actually people agreeing with that one of the feuds should be Awesome Kong and Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that was a big thing back in the day. People were open for that. And they kind of teased that every now and then.
And then Awesome Kong got into the fight with Bubba the Love Sponge, and
where even if she wasn't professional in that, she was justified.
Cold blood Matt Hardy.
Oh my god.
No, you're getting ahead of yourself. We still got the stuff between the matches.
Yeah,
this is between the matches. This is what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about Matt Morgan and Hernandez.
Oh.
I don't care.
Everyone forgot that.
And you know what? Justifiably so. But you know what? Hernandez apparently believes the TNA Impact Zone is a part of Hispanic America. And the reason why he came back to TNA after becoming like a god down in AAA down in Mexico, apparently. I don't know. I didn't even hear he was in AAA Mexico until tonight. He comes in, he says, well, I took you out, Matt Morgan, because, of what you did to me, and now everybody's like, loves you and everything like that, blah, blah, blah. And Matt Morgan's, Morgan's like, well, and then Hernandez just, cheap shots Morgan, levels him with the big shoulder block, and hits the Death Valley driver. And that was that. And it was just pretty standard.
The biggest problem I have with that is they're doing Latin American Exchange, except there's only one member of the LAX there now.
If they get Homicide back...
No, he's still with Ring of Honor, if I recall correctly.
Oh, good. So he needs to stay the fuck away from here. If this turns out to Hernandez leading a second LAX, I'm going to be okay with that.
No, my problem with this is, like, a little bit of the xenophobia kind of angle goes a long way. Mm-hmm. And not everything is race-related.
No.
So just because a guy is Mexican doesn't mean everything about his character and the reason why he does everything is because he feels prejudiced against. He doesn't have to be like punk-ass white boy, which he actually called Morgan last night. He doesn't have to say, this is about the minority becoming the majority. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
If it's not okay for white supremacy groups to be in TNA, which, I don't know, the way Bubba Ray's going, who knows. But, if it's not, why are we having xenophobic, racist minority groups lashing out against everyone white?
It's a hot-button issue, and TNA is all about just making controversial statements.
It's Russo. This is the guy that says Mexicans and Japanese will never get over in North America.
If you want to see Lucha Libre go to Japan, that guy.
I can go find his speech right now if you want me to. His little
I don't want you to.
We're all familiar with Russo's speech.
Like,
I don't want you to
that
find
little
that
tirade
speech.
that cost Time Warner like $800 million in the racial suit that Sonny Ono brought against WCW after WCW died.
And you know what? I called it during the call an FU, and it was a Death Valley driver, but wouldn't that be awesome if Hernandez started using the FU and calling it the FU?
What if he called it the Attitude Adjuster?
FU.
And what I think needs to be pointed out right here, why is Hernandez the heel in this? Because it's very obvious that last week on Impact, Eric Bischoff sent him out to screw over Matt Morgan out of the title. And he's doing the whole shtick we just mentioned, but Hernandez has perfect reason to be pissed off at Matt Morgan.
Yeah,
because
he's calling Morgan on his hypocrisy.
Kicked his head into a steel ring post, and this was never mentioned once last time.
Backlash, Iron Bite, Tifus. You want to know why? I have the exact reason why right here.
If you say Vince Russo, I'm going to smack you.
Matt Morgan is white and Hernandez is Hispanic, and it's Russo.
This is true.
Oh, God, I'm going to smack you. That counts.
Get Magpie's rolled up newspaper.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
but the whole thing was basically written for them. They had the perfect opportunity. You were basically dangling something logical in front of Vince Russo's face, and he said, "No, I'm going the racial angle." Do you see how scary that is? This man cannot even see a good story when it is sitting right in front of him. Because
the minority has to be the bad guy. He has to be the heel. He has to be dangerous and aloof and racist and intimidating. And despite Matt Morgan towering over him, he's just the defenseless little innocent angel. God damn, Russo.
The thing is, though, what really got me was going back to Impact when Hernandez interrupted Matt Morgan. He started attacking Anderson for no fucking reason.
Again, it's because Anderson's white and Hernandez is Hispanic.
Well, how about this? How much of a pop from all the white people in the audience did Hernandez get last night?
Oh, God.
And he actually said he came back to TNA to stick it to all the gringos that don't support him.
And suddenly he gets popped. If you don't like that, you punk-ass white boy, you can leave the country. You know, what type of fucking line was that?
Cold-blooded Matt Hardy.
There you go. Here's your
I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I am face-palming just as hard as I fucking can.
It sounds like you're whacking off.
I know. Cold blood, Matt Hardy. Again, I'm going to go off on a tangent right here, right now. This needs to stop. Not every single wrestler needs a fucking nickname.
They had it printed on a shirt before he started using it on television.
Yeah.
That was Matt Hardy's idea, though. That wasn't TNA's idea.
No, TNA said, hey, Matt Hardy, you need a nickname. Think of something. So he thought of it on himself.
Yeah. Not every wrestler needs a nickname. And if you're going to nickname somebody, at least nickname yourself something interesting that, actually can be used as a character development point. With Jeff Hardy and the whole charismatic enigma bull crap.
I don't really care that they nickname people. That's really a minor nitpick. It's annoying, but whatever, they can do it. But really, cold-blooded, what does that even mean? I mean,
it means that
it's not even cold-blooded. It's just cold blood.
Cold blood, right? Whatever. But Matt Hardy's entire justification is that Jeff went to TNA and Vince was pissed at Matt and he made him a laughingstock. No. That's obvious bullshit.
Yeah,
but what does that have to do with being cold blood?
It doesn't. It's now Matt Hardy is not able to be in Arctic climates, which is why he's in Florida. Didn't you say that, Revolver Man?
That's what I said. His gimmick is now that if they put him in a cold place, he will fall into a coma and die.
I'm gonna tell you guys this right here, right now. This has been my biggest pet peeve with TNA, besides the dumbass booking procedures from Russo and all. This bull crap with nicknaming everyone. Look at Hernandez. Look at how they're still using his name of Supermax. Why is he Supermax?
Because anything not reflecting his Mexican heritage would not be a proper use of character.
Okay, the whole effing show, RVD, I get that. And I think the Knockouts, even, a few of them have nicknames, and I can't even remember all of them.
Hardcore Country.
Yeah, there's Hardcore Country. No, that's more of
the Canadian Mexican.
Who's that?
That's Serena.
She's Canadian, and they're still playing her like she's from Tijuana.
That's the thing, or her sister. Are they going to play her like she's from Mexico? Because that's quite the big family tree then.
It's just
ridiculous.
Matt Hardy cuts a promo. It's not decent. It's not good. It's a promo.
It's a bullshit promo, too.
And I think he even brought up the whole Edge and Lita shit.
Mm-hmm. He did.
Which is bullshit from the get-go.
The evil WWE did not let me be me.
And then he goes, yeah, Christy, that's why I'm cold-blooded. And then we go out to have the match with Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, nothing says you're cold-blooded like losing a feud against the guy who stole your girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, actually, to be honest with you, Matt Hardy and Edge had the same amount of wins and losses in that feud.
Yeah, but overall he lost because he lost the loser.
Yeah, he lost. Yeah, that's just.
Matt Hardy's on TNA and Edge is the world champion. He lost.
He lost huge. But they had Matt and Rob Van Dam had a decent match, and you know what? Had this been 10, no, maybe even 5 years ago, when Matt Hardy was, I think V1, was he V1 about 5 years ago?
Yeah, that seems
ago. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. 5 years ago, when Matt was V1 and Rob Van Dam was not a stoned out idiot.
When he was trying,
this would have been a damn decent match.
Although, unexpectedly on this show, I gotta give Matt Hardy some praise. He slimmed down.
Yeah, he definitely, you could definitely, and he lost the whole,
His waist was smaller, but his pecs and his arms were huge.
Yeah.
So okay, he lost his fat, but how the fuck did he get so big so quickly?
Are you calling synthetic, Tifa?
I'm calling
steroids.
I'm sorry, are you calling human growth hormone? But
you guys got something in your throats there?
Yeah, just a little bit. It might be a little human growth hormone steroids, estrogen pill.
You might want to get a doctor to look at that. That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But back to the match. RVD, when he doesn't try anymore, versus Matt Hardy when he's a bitter old man. And I want to mention this, the Titantrons.
You mean the Dixietron?
The Dixietron. Let's call them the Dixietron. They've obviously upgraded them recently, which leads to my theory that they're using the money that they would have gave into the Young Bucks for making the match on the new Dixietrons.
No, that would cost too much. They're using the money they saved from Kevin Nash and Booker T.
Yeah, and Sting.
But more to the point, Matt Hardy's Titatron. What the? It looks like a part of a promo for the Social Network. It's got the emoticons, it's got all the face. What the fuck? It's like, he should come out and call himself V2 or Web 2.0 Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
you guys, I'm such a nerd. I'm all over the internet. Cheer for me. Give me the championship.
Here's something that kind of hurts me. Matt Hardy, damn decent wrestler. He really is. He's the more solid of the Hardys.
Yeah.
Anybody here actually say anything bad about Matt Hardy's wrestling?
When he's able to do his moves, he's awesome.
Okay. They actually came out, had a damn decent match. Rob Van Dam hit his spots. But unfortunately, towards the end of it, it looked like Matt Hardy was getting a little bit winded because he gave the worst side effect I have ever seen.
Wait, that was a side effect? I couldn't even tell.
That's
what
how
they called
bad.
it as.
Yeah, that's really how bad it was. And what's really showing is if you've ever noticed, Rob Van Dam has got to be pushing 40 now.
I think he's in like 38 right now.
Okay, so he's about 38.
Look it up real quick.
He can still move the same way he could move about 15 years ago, because his wrestling style, is very hard on his body.
He's 40.
Yeah, he's 40. So.
Oh, he is 40. Oh, wow.
Wow, really?
December 18th, 1970.
Oh,
wow.
Shit.
Ooh.
But if you guys notice, Rob Van Dam's style is hard on his body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
But he's still flexible. He's still able to actually move.
He's been wrestling for 30 years, too.
Yeah.
1990.
He's obviously got a tough body, and once again, more praise on the wrestlers. That's what I do with TNA. I praise the wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
RVD can still sell like a mother.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Van Dam, I think between the two of them, if you had to get into who can sell this move the best between Rob Van Dam and The Rock,
I swear to God, I thought Matt Hardy botched a move because Rob was selling so well.
Yeah. But Rob Van Dam hits the split-legged moonsault, attempts Rolling Thunder, blah, 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 and then Matt Hardy loses to Rob Van Dam. This was the one prediction I had on the show that I got right.
Yep.
Because, I said they were going to give it to Rob Van Dam because in Russo's world, you can't have the faces look strong. But
so far, Faces won 4. Actually, overall, Faces won 4 of the 8 matches last night.
Mm-hmm. So
it's going up.
Yeah.
But they all took a beating after the fact.
No,
somehow.
exception of the first two. And this match.
Chaz and RVD are probably the only faces that came out looking stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah. Then we get.
Here we go.
The promo.
Oh God.
This creeped me out.
You know what? I'll say this, and this applies to later on in the show about another angle that everyone's going to shit on, that I actually would not mind so much of as other people. The creepiness, the way it makes you feel dirty watching it, I like that. That's a good heel delivery. The problem with these angles, the problem with this promo, it involves people I don't give a flying fuck about.
And okay, Christy Hemme is interviewing Bully Ray, because we can't call him Bubba anymore, and he just starts getting all sort. He takes the creepiness and ramps it the fuck up. Now I'm going to admit right here, right now, on several online forums, your humble Iron Bite, humble, am considered creepy.
No.
That out creeped me.
You know what actually ruined it? Was Christy Hemme clearly fighting tooth and nail, not
laughing.
Where's the Macho Man when you need him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Send for the man.
Yeah, she looked so damn bored, and she was about to bust out laughing, and I guarantee you, once they said, cut, we're done, she goes over to a corner and just starts bawling her eyes out with laughter. And Bubba Ray is like looking at her going, was I that bad? You know what? Fuck you, bitch. And he goes out to the ring.
I picture him saying, don't laugh at me, laugh at Russo.
Yeah, I mean, because that was just, he licks her, he chews on her hair, he screams into her face. It's like,
and he whispers into her ear too.
So during the match, Bully Ray comes out first, goes back to the back. What are you doing? Devon, I mean, we know what he was trying to do. Devon just comes racing on out, and it's like, okay, where is he?
Yeah, because, Devon couldn't see him on the monitor backstage.
It was so funny. I actually thought of it. He tried to crash Holly him. That's what I'm calling that. But he completely fucked it up.
Well, so my first thought, and I admit this was a real thought I had to, snap back to reality, was that Bubba Ray actually, went, you know what? Fuck this company. I'm going to get drunk or something.
Yeah.
He just decided to say, fuck it, I'm leaving.
And Russo caught him and said, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out there. Okay, so Ray goes down the steel ramp, obviously clumping around. Devon's like, where did he go? Oh, where did he go? Oh, he's right behind me. Here I go.
He's looking at the fans like, what? What are you saying? And they're pointing right to his immediate left.
Shit.
They're in my peripheral vision.
I despise that spot in wrestling when the heel jumps the face like that. Because
he didn't even jump him. Devon punched him before he could do anything, so it was completely pointless.
Right, but I hate that spot so fucking much because everybody in the arena is telling the face to look behind you. You don't think if 1,000 people were telling you to look behind you, you'd look behind you.
And don't tell me you can't hear them because they're pointing.
You gotta be blind when you're a wrestler. You can't listen to the fans. You gotta play along and just pretend.
Well, the problem
it is.
At least it's better than they've had in TNA, where a person is standing in the ring, looking at the ramp, waiting for someone to come down the ramp, and there's that big screen showing them standing in the ring, looking at the ramp, and the guy pops in behind him, and it shows the guy standing behind him in the ring that he's staring at on the big screen.
Mm-hmm. Now, the worst part of this was, you can do this in the WWE because they're using massive open air, arenas. But in TNA, you can't. You can't do that because it's so small and intimate. And I love this because apparently, according to the reports, Devon appears to smash a Coke bottle over the head of Ray.
Oh, I'm sure that totally hurt.
Everybody was offering bottles. Did you see that? There was Sprites, there was waters, there were Cokes. Too bad, going back to Hernandez, too bad there wasn't any of those Mexican Coke bottles. And if you know those are glass.
Ooh. So Devon grabbed an obvious planted bottle because I looked away for a second, and when I looked back, the camera was all gunked up and wet. I was like, wait a second here, what the hell just happened here? And yeah, apparently he smashed. It was an obvious plant because real glass shatters and cuts, and Ray wasn't covered in blood.
And this isn't ECW back when they had their fucking fans bring the weapons matches.
Oh, yeah. So we get to the match, and all of a sudden, they get into the ring. Devon gets out a kendo stick, and for the second time in a row in about 2 days, we get to see a black man hit someone with a kendo stick.
I was so disappointed because I thought for a second there, because Devon had grabbed a trash can, that he was going to walk in with the trash can lid and the kendo stick like a sword and shield, like he was a knight getting ready to slay Papa.
That would have been awesome, but no.
Can't have anything cool in TNA.
No.
That'd have been awesome.
Okay, but
I'm going to live for that moment that I see that.
Yeah, I know. So, all of a sudden, Devon's 2 kids...
Oh, this was so stupid.
Can someone correct me, but is Bubba Ray using as part of his ring weapons, a wallet with a chain.
He's using a chain.
I thought
It's a chain. It's not a wallet.
I thought it was a collar. I thought it was a collar with a chain myself.
Is there a wallet attached to the chain? Because it looks like there is.
I don't know. I'd have to look at it again to make sure.
I thought it was a collar, personally.
It wouldn't surprise me. Maybe that's why he has the excuse for having it. I don't know.
But all of a sudden, Devon puts Ray's head in the chair.
Yeah, in the chair.
And starts beating his back with the chain. Bubba Ray has his head slip out of the chair, if anybody noticed that.
Oh, it was obviously on the mat. The chair was just resting on it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Devon's sons come out, and
I thought this was their heel turn, because we were all predicting a heel turn from them, and this is how you do it, because they're distracting Devon, and Bubba gets up and grabs a chair and nails him in the back.
And, well, Devon brought back 2000, 2001, I don't know, but he brought up, what's up? What's up? That, you know, whatever year that's from, that's calling.
2000.
2000's calling, Devon. They want that back, and for you to never, and, you know, nails the flying headbutt to the groin. And then his boys ask for their father to get the tables. And they go get the tables.
Fans go crazy.
And then they get the tables. Bully Ray gets up, smashes, the Devon family down, and this is going to get stupid in a little bit.
There's nothing good left in this match.
He handcuffs Devon to the turnbuckle, thereby forfeiting any chance to win the match.
Or so we think.
Yeah, or so we think. Because then he kills both sons.
They sell pretty good, I have to say.
Oh, yeah, they definitely sell it pretty damn big. Pins one son, and apparently that wins him the match.
The one-on-one match between Bubba Ray and Devon is won by pinning Devon's son.
Yeah.
WCW, I hear that siren call. But going back to the kids, I want to say this. They telegraphed that kid's heel turn so bad that I think they must have changed it on the fly to shock everybody. Like a double swerve where they did.
Russo swerved us.
So I guess technically they did it.
But not really. So Devon is screaming at Ray, yelling out,
Why?
You son of a bitch, you son of a bitch. Ray gets a chair and is, teasing. Oh, I'm going to hit you, Devon. I'm going to hit you. He goes to hit Devon. Devon ducks his head. And well, is he going to give Devon an unprotected chair shot to the head? No. Instead, he grabs the kid he didn't pin, and we get to be treated to the most uncomfortable scene in wrestling ever.
Well, since the Karen Angle chair.
Until later in the show. But
yeah. But
since the house tour of the Jarrett household.
Bubba Ray picks up the kid and powerbombs him through the table.
Now, the chair that Bubba Ray dropped was within the reach of Devon, and he could have chucked that at Bubba Ray at any time.
Dude, the entire time he was doing this, he was within, kicking distance of Devon.
Yeah,
Devon could have kicked him in the balls.
Stop this.
Yeah, he's handcuffed in the corner, but why not? You can still stand up. You can still, swipe at him. You can kick him. You can do something.
Not just sit there helplessly. But after the kid gets powerbombed, Bubba Ray leaves the ring, and they spend a very uncomfortable, I think, 5 minutes.
I read it was 11.
11 minutes, padding the show out, by the way, of watching the trainers come in, of watching them attempt to get the handcuffs off Bubba Ray. I'm sorry, Devon.
Oh,
which after 5 minutes they just open the handcuffs, no key or anything.
Yeah, they act like they cut it, but they obviously show a shot of the open handcuffs, proving that they were trick fucking handcuffs.
Yeah, and Devon picks up
the other son get power bombed,
and Devon picks up his son and takes him to the back like he's fucking Michael Kevin Costner, and he's got Whitney Houston in his arms.
You might as well have just started playing music from Apocalypse Now and thrown in a obligatory, why?
what I actually thought was, it kind of reminded me of your Hunter from the Future when yours carrying away like a kill or something.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh,
And now the point where the life of the show gets sucked out.
That is to say, the show had life at all.
it had a little.
It had a little, but not much.
But then the black holes showed up.
The Kurt Angle Jeff Jarrett match. I have a test for you guys. Since Jarrett came into power during a big main event feud or semi-main event, as the case might be, has Jeff Jarrett ever lost?
Not as a heel. If he's
As a
face.
He lost on Impact last week, but I don't even want to count that for how it played out.
Oh God,
I don't either.
He no-sold that finish almost immediately.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to beat up Fortune by himself.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle definitely have the skills to put a barn burner, and they kinda did again, but then we had to show Karen Jarrett.
We had to hear Karen Jarrett.
We had to watch her get involved in this match about 50 goddamn times.
You guys mentioned that Fortune run-in last week.
Mm-hmm.
Crimson and AJ were not involved in any physicalities in this entire show. Why were they not out for every match to run interference?
I have no clue. I really don't.
Because that makes sense, and that does not compute with Russo.
Here's the thing. Karen Jarrett, in full view of the referee, slaps Kurt Angle.
They stole that from WWE.
I know, but then again, that was Vicky Guerrero slapping Edge.
Yeah.
But what murders me about this is that they don't stop the match and go, okay, wait, we got to throw this match out. You just got involved. What? Yeah, Kurt Angle gets your kids. Logic, Russo. Use logic. If you were going to have Karen Jarrett slap Kurt Angle, at least have the referee have his back turned and dealing with Jeff Jarrett so he can't hear. Because as we all know, sight equals hearing. So Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle hit their little spots. They do blah, blah, blah. It looks like Kurt Angle goes for the sunset flip, and Jeff Jarrett just sits down on him. Actually, what it really looked like was that Kurt Angle said, okay, I'm going to do the sunset flip on you. Okay, that's not working. Here's the ankle lock. And then Jarrett just sits down. And just so you guys know, did anybody not see this ending happening?
Well,
Of course not.
I knew he was going to lose. I didn't realize it was going to be in such a pathetic fashion.
That's what I was about to say, because they had like spots that would have been perfect for a finish.
Mm-hmm.
But then they went with the fucking one where I swear to God, Kurt Angle's shoulders were not touching the mat.
No, they weren't. They just made the count because Russo says so.
And it gets me really pissed because they actually got me believing near the end of this match that, holy shit, Kurt Angle might win. And then they pull that finish, and I'm like, wow, I'm an idiot.
Well, Kurt Angle's not going to win because one of the stipulations automatically writes in next week's,
the storyline.
Yeah, and I got to talk about the storyline. Allow me to go off on a tangent here. I minored in psychology when I was in college, and in my sophomore year, one of the things I studied was kids whose parents have been divorced. And I wrote a term paper, 6-page essay, about how children whose parents go through divorce, who grow up in two separate households, are prone to showing increased aggression, hostility towards their family members, hostility towards their peers, and on occasion are prone to delinquent behavior. I even researched a case back from 1994 where two parents were getting divorced. It was very bitter. There was a lot at stake because one of these people was loaded. So they're both trying to turn the kid against each other, trying to get them to say something bad about the other one. 10 years later, would you like to take a guess what happened?
He kills his parents?
He killed one of them.
Ah.
You
know
Throw
what?
in the fact that you are being used in a TV program for a stupid storyline. How do you... I would love to talk to one of these kids 10 years from now. Because I promise you now, they will not even be functional members of society. This is dangerous stuff. Dixie Carter needs to be ashamed of herself. Vince Russo needs to be ashamed of himself. Kurt Angle needs to be ashamed of himself. Karen Angle should never have come on TV. Jeff Jarrett needs to just, I don't even know. This should not have happened. This, in no way, could have seemed like a good idea to anyone. Vince Russo has found a new low. Using children in your own goddamn storyline.
Well,
Yeah.
This is like, I don't even want to say Dynamic because, well, the big thing about that one, it was all fake. Eddie and Ray were true friends, and the kid probably knew that this was all an act. This is far different from that.
I won't defend that anymore because it was stupid, and I do know but you're right. That wasn't fake. It was all story. But we're actually using a failed marriage, a tragically failed, bitter marriage, and these kids have to deal with the fact that their parents hate each other.
I'm gonna jump in here and say my piece on it, and I know you guys are gonna disagree with me on it, but as long as the kids are well adjusted and the adults involved take care to, make sure they know the difference between reality and fantasy, and that Kurt still loves his kids and all that kind of stuff. And if Kurt was present during those vignettes they shot in the Jarrett house, honestly, I wouldn't have a problem with it. There's no way to verify whether or not that's the case, so that's up in the air.
Again, though, we're talking about this is a Russo storyline, and everybody's shooting all the time.
And that's something else, though, too, is I have no problem mixing reality into the storylines. I honestly had no problem with the Katie Vick storyline.
Oh, wow.
The shocking,
that was just funny.
The shocking, devious, despicable, creepy, grotesque actions of heels, when done with people you give a shit about, makes for a really good heel elevation, which in turn increases the amount of a face reaction that the face can get out of the storyline, too. If it's done well, I'll say this, Bully Ray's promo with Christy Hymler is pawing on her, chewing on her hair and shit. If it was someone that I gave a shit about, maybe like Drew McIntyre being all creepy or whatever, that would have been a great spot. That would have been a great moment. If this angle was with anyone other than Karen and Jeff Jarrett as the heels, and they took the precautions I mentioned earlier about making sure Kurt was there to make sure he was okay with it and all that kind of stuff, and that the kids understood this is not real. Kurt still loves them and all that stuff, and that they still love Kurt and all that stuff, and this is just pretend them being part of the show, them being included in mommy, daddy, and second daddy's life.
There's shock value though, and then there's just plain exploitation, and they've lost it.
Yeah,
and
but if they took those precautions, it wouldn't really be so much exploitation.
Yeah, I know, I get what you're saying, but still, this whole thing just feels wrong because if Kurt's there, if him and Karen don't actually hate, if him and Karen don't actually hate each other, they just don't want to be married anymore. Okay, but still, I don't think they should involve the children in this. That is just wrong. There's no justification for it.
There is and there isn't. I mean, you can sit there and say if it's a really bitter thing, and like I've got a couple friends that are going through this right now where the one's ex-fiance, I don't even know if they were married, but she's the mother of his first two kids, recently told their daughter that he doesn't love her. Okay, that's something where you're right. That's something where you're dead on, if that were the case. This, we don't really know what the situation behind the scenes is. Yeah, okay, it was a bitter divorce. Maybe they buried the hatchet and they're okay. They're obviously working together. So,
yeah.
I mean, Kurt was on the verge of leaving the company over the whole thing at one point, but, now they're back in there and they've got an angle out of it. I think the angle was a little bit too little too late. It should have been more fresh, but obviously people weren't cool with it outside of kayfabe back when it was actually going on to make a storyline out of it. But, honestly, I have no problem with the shocking, grotesque, despicable tactics. It's just the people that are doing them are people I don't give a shit about, and they're executing it very poorly.
Keith, I agree with you 100%, except for one thing.
Okay.
If the heels do that, they should not fucking go over.
No, they shouldn't. But TNA is using it, the stipulation, to advance the storyline through their next segment with the storyline, which is going to be Jarrett and Karen renewing their vows, and they've already built in that, like all weddings in wrestling, someone's going to interfere. They've already built in that Kurt's going to be present to interfere and attack people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they kind of already telegraphed the next month or so of the storyline. You knew Kurt was going to lose. So I can accept that. But at the same time, that goes back into this being poorly executed.
This is the part of the show that I just totally tuned out on because I didn't care. I didn't care about their damn main event. This is the first time I have ever seen a ladder match with Jeff fucking Hardy.
It's kind of funny because this is where I started paying more and more attention to the Grammys, and I can't even remember who it was that won Best Song and Best Record of the Year.
This was like one of those one of the crappiest ladder matches I've ever seen Jeff Hardy do. He is more than capable of pulling a ladder match out of his ass that's at least 3 out of 5 stars. This was barely 2.
Well, you remember back in WWE when he had that ladder match with Undertaker, he said in the DVD that they put out years later with that match on it when he did commentary for it that he was just phoning it in because at that point he was burned out on WWE, he was burned out on wrestling and this and that and the other thing, so he was just phoning it in. He wasn't even trying in that match.
This match, I don't care if he was trying, this was terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
His little painted ladder that Jeff Hardy was carrying around for a little bit?
Yeah.
That breaks almost fucking immediately. Jeff Hardy gets pushed up by Anderson, and it breaks almost immediately.
It gets worse. 3/4 of the way through the match, Ken Anderson manages to put Jeff Hardy on a ladder and goes up to hit the Kenton Bomb, which is his version of the Senton Bomb.
Yep.
Okay? He completely misses Hardy and the ladder.
No, he didn't miss the ladder.
Oh,
didn't his head bounce off it?
No. You can clearly see him get about 5 inches away from the ladder with his head.
He just
sells it like he just opened up the back of his brain.
When I saw the back of his head, I'm like, I was expecting a river of blood to come gushing out. I look at the back of his head. Oh, he's fine.
Yeah. He's selling it like, oh my god, my head, my concussion, I've got a concussion again. I know, guys, I'm skipping over most of the ladder match, but that's how boring it was.
It was stupid.
Yes.
I mean, when you get the life of your show sucked out of you by Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle, you're not going to be able to recover from that for anything.
Well, you know what? I'll say that it's probably more because of we've had so many ladder matches.
Exactly.
In the last few years.
Yeah. It's
not special anymore.
No,
we have ladder matches at the TLC pay-per-view, ladder matches at Money in the Bank, ladder matches whenever the fuck Russo wants to give away a pay-per-view stipulation for free on television on Impact.
Jeff Hardy brings out 2 ladders to the middle of the ring. Ken Anderson comes up, and it's like, okay, he's going to hit the mic check now and win the belt. Jeff Hardy is like reaching up. He's about to get the belt, and then Anderson starts it swinging. What the hell is he doing that for? This is where the botch comes into effect. The obvious finish was Ken Anderson was going to hit the mic check on Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy was going to actually tear the belt down, thus winning the match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Ken Anderson hits the mic check, doesn't check to see if Jeff Hardy has the belt unhooked yet. So after that mic check, Jeff Hardy gets right on up and grabs the belt.
No sells a mic check from the top of the ladder.
Flew up the ladder.
No attempt to reset the spot. Just, I'm gonna go up, grab the belt. I just no soldier finisher. Ha ha ha.
Worse than no sell. I've never seen a person climb the ladder that fast in a wrestling match. So it's like that moment where Randy Savage drops the elbow on Hogan, and that somehow wakes Hogan up.
I think Jeff Hardy basically just said, fuck it, just get this match over with.
Mm-hmm. That's probably it.
Now, I'm actually going to praise the ending if it had worked. Because I think that would have been a brilliant setup. Because that would have made Anderson look really tough and powerful, that he just devastated Jeff like that. However, the slimy heel Jeff still somehow, because of the stipulation, came out with the title. Now it looks like that Anderson couldn't fucking put a hurt on a fly because Jeff Hardy couldn't get up faster than after taking a mic check off of 2 ladders.
Yeah, so now you know if there's a ladder involved, even if he's not in the match, Jeff Hardy automatically wins.
Yep.
Basically.
Which is weird because remember at Genesis when Mr. Anderson was basically looked like the second coming of John Cena?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Again, this is I'm gonna say this right here, right now. Had that spot worked, that would have been an awesome ending.
I'm curious, why did Anderson start swinging the belt? Was that planned?
I don't think he thought the match was going to end. I didn't think, he probably thought, like, oh, I'm going to swing the belt and we're going to keep going. But he probably wasn't aware, like, the pay-per-view was winding down. Like, they were almost out of time with the pay-per-view. Like, they were about 5 minutes away from the finish.
Yeah, so they said, we need to finish this up real quick. But, so, that was against all odds. I would actually rate it as an average episode of SmackDown from back in 2005.
I hate to seem like I'm picking on TNA, but I'm going to have to put this in the lose column.
This is a 2 out of 5.
I'd have to say I was liking this going in with the X Division match, which was decent, I thought. Then things just started going downhill. Matt Hardy and RVD was okay, but other than that, just this pay-per-view had nothing going for it, nothing I gave a shit about, and nothing that I'm going to remember like a week from now.
I'll put it to you guys like this. I have terrible insomnia and have for the better part of the last month where I cannot fall asleep until 4 a.m. And at the end of this pay-per-view event, I was so physically exhausted I was ready to fall asleep. And I didn't even watch half of it. I seriously zoned out and just started watching the Grammys while it was streaming. That's how bad it was.
Oh, TNA. Cures for the diseases that we didn't think we had.
Don't worry, the insomnia is back in full swing. I slept until 2 this afternoon.
Oh, that's awesome, because you know what, tonight, I for one cannot wait for Thursday's Impact or tomorrow's taping to read the spoilers, because, just to figure out, where do they go from here? Where do you go from here with this crap?
Next one is Victory Road.
They're WrestleMania.
No, Bound for Glory is a WrestleMania, isn't it?
Yeah, Bound for Glory.
Oh. And I thought
knows?
Victory Road was in like July.
According to this, it is coming up March 13th, 2011.
Oh, you know what? I remember reading about that. They switched 2 pay-per-view events.
They shuffle them around all the time.
Yeah.
So I, for one, cannot wait to see exactly where they're going to go with this. I cannot wait to see how they're going. I mean, we all know that Kurt Angle is going to do something to fuck up Karen Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett's wedding vow ceremony. I cannot wait to see how tasteless they are in regards to Devon's kids.
I hope they have Jarrett, the kids there for the wedding vow ceremony. Yeah. I really do.
I can't. And guys, just so you know, Jeff Hardy's back in court tomorrow, so he's not going to be at the tapings.
Wonderful.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like, we could go on for like another hour about how retarded that is, putting the belt back on a guy who may or may not be going to prison.
No, he's going to prison. He's going to prison.
I think they're trying to get a plea bargain where his prison sentence.
He has a mandatory 45 days.
I think they're trying to get that winged into like house arrest instead of actual prison arrest.
But regardless of the fact, Jeff Hardy's going to jail.
Yeah.
And they put the belt back on him.
Right.
So, you know what? I think we should end the show. With a game that we have on the forums. What gets more screen time than Jay Lethal? Is everybody up for that?
I do this.
Okay. I'm gonna start.
Well, does it have to be just things in TNA, or it can be?
It has to be stuff on Against All Odds.
All right.
What gets more screen time than Jay Lethal? Kurt Angle's boots.
That was the weirdest thing. They kept going back to those. They were sneakers too.
They're high top wrestling boots. They're actually what amateur wrestlers wear, and the significance behind that is amateur wrestlers will take their boots off and leave them in the ring when they're done with the sport. For good.
Well, I wish they had explained that beforehand.
Yeah.
I think they didn't even know. Alright, anyways, Backlash?
Cookie's purse, when she hit Kazarian, got more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Generation Me got more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Oh, and Revolver Man, you're last.
Botches got more screen time.
Oh, and I guess we will end the show. Thanks for listening. Once again, I am Iron Bite.
I'm TFS.
I'm Backlash.
And I'm the Revolver Man. Thank you, and good luck.
It's just out of nowhere. They don't acknowledge her Native American.